Ladies and gents, boys and girls, it's your boy. It's your man's. It's Dak. It's me. You guys remember these kind of videos? I used to do these all the time. You know, where I talk about a monster, see what it is, see what it ain't. Regardless, though, here we are. We are with Raging Brachydios. Now, I'm a little late. I'm not gonna lie to you. Animal Crossing came out, so you know that's all I was really focused on. You already know I was trying to take a break from Monster Hunter, so when Animal Crossing came out, I was on that wave. But we're doing Brachy first as opposed to Fierce. The reason why we're doing Brachy first is because out of the two, I can stand Brachy a little bit more. Like, I totally forgot that they were coming out, and I was like, okay, which one do I do first? I know my time is limited. So I was like, okay, I'll do Brachy first. With that being said, with my time being limited, I will note a couple of things to you guys. There are a few things that I usually do before I make a video like this. I actually like to fight the monster at least 10 times, so that way I get a good feel of like all the attacks that he does, occasionally, sparingly, and very rarely, so I can like at least tell you to watch out for certain things if they're a threat or not. I've only fought him 4 times, well, 3 times with success, a 4th time with a failure. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I know everything there is to know about him, but if I don't get this video out now, by the time I actually have the chance to fight him 10 times, then I have to go and fight Fierce Rajang 10 times. It'll be relatively obsolete. So what I would like for you guys to do, if I get something wrong, I want you to please note it out in the comment section. And if anyone does note that I get something wrong, can you please correct it, so that way the people who come to these videos for information, they can at least find solace at the comment section. Won't be a bastion of hate and malice, as opposed to, you know, what I would like for it to be, institute of education, if you will. With that being said, let's actually get into it. So Raging Brachydios, you first are available to fight him in the Guiding Lands. That's what makes him kind of, I wouldn't even say unique, just interesting. I kind of like the fact that they put him here as opposed to the Elder's Recess, where they would usually put anything, so that's actually kind of cool. It opens up a large variety of locations to actually fight him at, which is dope, honestly. It really is kind of dope. I don't know why I'm talking about the area in which you fight him in, but it's just a nice breath of fresh air to fight him somewhere that's not the Elder's Recess, which is a very common thing. Nevertheless, now if you look at him from the jump, he's actually quite large, and he has the slime covering a large portion of his body, more so than that of the standard Brachydios. But one thing to note from him, the change, I won't say the biggest change between him and his 4th generation counterpart, is the fact that in the 4th generation, literally being around his tail, horn, and both pounders would trigger an explosion, like a proximity explosion. Just being around him would trigger an explosion with those body parts. That is the biggest change I've noted that is not in this game. Just being around these body parts will not explode, because it would make mounting and doing the little slinger flint shot thing nigh impossible, when 3 parts of his body that are in close proximity to each other can easily blow up and disrupt all of that altogether. So since that's no longer a thing, feel free to actually go in and utilize all these mechanics, the flint shot and what have you, so that way you can, you know, fight him with a greater degree of success and a little bit less stress, because back in the day that was a huge thing for us, the fact that you couldn't even get close half the time, because you were susceptible to just blowing up just by being near. He wasn't even hitting you, just being near him would kill you. So that's no longer a thing, so that's actually good. Now when it comes down to fighting him, I would recommend a good 4-man team. His weaknesses, you know, the classics, you know, the water and the ice kind of thing, bring those of course, but I would highly suggest at least somebody going there with sleep. Anytime you can actually debilitate him, to get him to stop moving so that we can set up, is going to be a huge boon, because once he starts getting amped up, once he gets enraged, not even in this true raging form, but once he starts getting really amped up, it's quite difficult to actually keep him pinned down, so that way he doesn't exude all the explosive power that he actually has. He has quite a few explosive powerful attacks, those being very akin to, you know, the punching of his fist onto the ground, punching you. He actually now can use his tail to slam down, and he uses it quite a bit. It's almost like Diablos. If you guys remember fighting Diablos in the older games, if you try to approach Diablos from behind, he will almost undoubtedly do his tail swing from the back. It hits us almost every single time. Raging Brachy is no different. He has his tail slamming attack, and it's in the same vein as such. Now, I will say that when he does it, he will drop another splotch, if you will, of slime, and he can trigger another slime blast with that attack. So you might want to really watch out for it, so you don't want to really attack him from behind, think you're going to get away free, because the attack does hurt quite a bit. You'll get hit for about a good 40 to 50% of your health if your defense is around like 900-ish kind of range, which is what mine was when we came into this battle right here. What else is there? I'm thinking off the top of my head here. Oh yeah, his horn. He does have all his horn attacks. In his raging form, he doesn't have the horn. Like, how do you, like, he'll jut his horn into the ground really quickly and then pull it out really quickly as well, and then this huge explosive trail will actually happen. I've not yet seen him do this. This is something I want you guys to actually correct me in the comments section if I'm wrong about that, where he would just jut it in really quick, pull it out, and this is a huge stream of explosions. I've seen him do it to where he would jut it in and then a huge line of slime will pop up, but I'm not 100% about the explosion, so you guys have to let me know about that. Nevertheless, so what all that being said, what else is there to say? Well, I guess we can talk about his actual raging form when he gets seriously turned up. So, because I don't think you guys will see it in this video. Well, you will, but I have to like make the armor section, and I don't know how long I've been talking, and I can't remember how long this video was. Anyway, if you guys seen the trailer where he gets really mad and he punches the ground very furiously, in a raging fashion, if you will, that is his particular last phase. In that phase, that phase needs its own video in and of itself. That phase is really interesting. It's a huge dynamic change on him, and it's why I'm okay with him changing what Raging Brachydios used to be versus what he is now, because it really it reminds me of the old school Teostra Nova, and also, again, you know, it has its own spin on it because it's bracky and there's slime everywhere. So when he's in this state, he will not trigger any slime to explode readily. Instead, the slime will explode all at once when he commands it so. So all that punching, all it does is it puts a huge amount of slime on the ground. And this slime is different from your standard slime, because this standard slime, well, this slime doesn't explode readily, and also it gives the like the lava effect if you're standing in lava, because like you'll be slowly draining your health if you're standing in it. This is where a good 20 to fire resistance would help out. So if you guys can have about 20 fire resistance, it'd be really good to have this as well, because the fire res on top of the blasting, the blasting on top of that will actually cause you to catch on fire. Standard blasting and the extra stuff, of course. Nevertheless, so as we get into it, he does all of this, and there's slime everywhere. But the thing is, the slime doesn't explode like after about a couple of seconds, and every time he puts more slime in the ground, it's a wide area of slime. It'll cover, before you know it, the area you're in will be 100% completely covered in slime. And the thing is, you want to find the small gaps in which it's not covered in slime, so that way you can actually move around and not get hit with the passive fire damage. Now, he will eventually roar. Like this is this is when I was like, okay, earplugs is a must. I would recommend earplugs more than anything else when going into this fight. Well, earplugs and blast resistance, because the roar is quick, and then right after the roar, like maybe a second after the roar, everything explodes. Like everything explodes, and it does huge amounts of damage. I carded to it twice. So I'd recommend that you guys bring earplugs, the high grade variant, if you will, so that way you have a little bit longer to know when you need to get out of the way. I haven't been able to like dodge it, like Superman dive it or anything like that, because again, the roar comes out very fast, and secondly, you're caught in the roar, like the flinching animation of the roar as he's doing this, because it's immediately after the roar, like count like half a second, and then boom, the whole area explodes. So if you have high grade earplugs, you should be okay, because it is just a roar. But yeah, that's that. Also, when he does the big punchy thing, it causes a tremor. Now, I'm not 100% certain, again, in the comment section, please, if you were to have tremor resistance, would you be able to move when he does this? I don't think it really matters much, because it isn't an explosion, it's just him putting it all on the ground, so it doesn't necessarily hurt you. It looks like an explosion, but you'll, for the most part, be fine. Alright, now with that being said, I'm going to run over the armor very briefly, okay guys? So just real quick, the armor and the weapons, incredibly brief. It's going to take like 2 minutes, and then we're going to get back into the last phase of the video. Okay, so with Raging Brachy armor, it's actually incredibly good, alright? The alpha variant might actually be the new meta. I've heard a lot of people talking about, yo, the meta has changed to full sets now, and that full set being this set. I've seen people talk about how you can mix it with Teostra and it be incredibly good, but nevertheless, the set all by itself is actually very, very nice. So if you look at the right, The skills are Agitator 7, Artillery 5, Blast Attack 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Speed Sharpening 3, and Guard 2. Now this is raw, okay guys, that's how good it is, it's raw. So if you're looking at this, you could probably look at this and say, okay, this is a fantastic Gun Lance or Charge Blade set, and you're 100% correct about that. Now the beta variant, for the most part, just gives you Agitator, Weakness Exploit, but it gives you a whole gang of slots. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the beta is actually going to be very good. Honestly, it's not. I would act a certain piece of the beta with the alpha to give you the desired effect you need. If you don't want blast attack, that's fine, because not every weapon you're going to be using is going to be a blast weapon. You might want to just go for the beta chest, which rather gives you Agitator, or the beta legs, which just gives you the Weakness Exploit with a whole gang of slots. Because we've had a few other legs that give you Weakness Exploit, but this one I think has the best slots to Weakness Exploit ratio. Nevertheless, the armor is fantastic. I literally cannot applaud the armor enough. Okay, I can't. It's just incredibly good. And if you're wondering why we had Artillery 5 and Agitator 7, because the set skills is Agitator Secret and Artillery Secret, Secret, which pretty much undermines the use of Zora Magdaros armor, because this is essentially much better than that. So look at it like that. If you were using mix sets with Zora Magdaros, you might want to make mix sets with Brachydios. Now its weapons, the weapons is just yes, okay? His weapons are so good, dude, yes, okay? I'll show you very quickly. Make his gun lance first when I get around to it, but look at the gun lance, dude. It's 690, a whole bunch of standard purple sharpness, 270 blast, a level 4 and a level 3 slot, and wide 7. That's a new one. Wide 7 is the highest wide shot typing ever. So that's fantastic. And these same stats, the upper end of the stat sheet goes across all weapons. So all weapons will have basically the highest, almost the highest, if not the highest attack stat that you have, with natural purple sharpness and a lot of slots and so on and so forth. So its weapons are 100% go. I would recommend them to the fullest. Okay, so just in time, I actually did that fast enough so that way you can see the final phase of Brachy in its entirety. So everything like I said about it before is still very true, but we're going to wrap up this episode by just talking about Brachy in general. So Raging Brachydios in this game, as he's perceived, is actually incredibly fun. He's honestly a very fair fight. Nothing gets incredibly out of hand until it's supposed to. When you get to the final phase of a monster, things are supposed to get crazy. Things are supposed to be relatively unfair. And the funny thing about it is, it's really not like that. It's actually fine. You know, yeah, there's blast stuff everywhere, and you can potentially die by him roaring. Not just any roar, mind you. By him actually activating all the blasts at once and exploding the entire area. But it's still fun. It's a great fight. So I'll put it like this. Yes, he now breaks the meta. I'll admit it. His gear really breaks the meta. I know this because no one has said a single thing about Furious Rajang gear, and both these monsters, if I'm not mistaken, came out at the exact same time. No one has even uttered, and I haven't seen Furious Rajang gear. Let's put it like that. So I'm guessing his gear isn't all that good. Again, in the comment section, hit me up. But his armor completely changed the meta with the fact that it gives you every skill that you could ever want for the current meta as is by himself. And he has a whole gang of slots on both alpha and beta. So his armor is fantastic. His weapons are actually pretty good. I wouldn't probably use them over, it depends. I'd use them over Safi in a lot of different cases. But if you don't really need to, then there's no real need to. You know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is. But nevertheless, his gear is just fantastic. The fight itself is really, really good. I've always said before that Brachydios is probably the best brute wyvern, and this fight really exemplifies that. It's just a great fight. You have fun with it. It's one of those things that you think you're gonna have a tough time fighting a monster. You're gonna be really triggered and raged the entire time. That's not the case. Yes, he's difficult, but it's difficult but fair, and that's what I kind of feel like really makes endgame really good. Because there's a lot of monsters that are quite difficult, and I'm not going to say they're unfair, but they have a lot of really annoying characteristics about them, a lot of really annoying things that make it to where you don't ever want to fight the monster after you get what you need. Rajang is kind of like that. He's obnoxious. Rajang is obnoxious, where in which Brachy really isn't. He's, again, like I said, he's pretty fair. So it's actually more, in my opinion, it's more fun to fight Brachy than it is to fight Rajang, because with Rajang, you have to worry about a whole bunch of random things. I'm not going to say he's harder than Brachy, because for some people he might be, and others maybe not so much. It's just that it's easier to fight a Brachy and fight it. Well, it's easier to grind a Brachy, let's say that, than it is to grind something like Rajang, where in which small mistakes are completely capitalized and demolished in its entirety, pulverized even. So I guess it's something to note. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like Raging Bracky is going to be a good staple. People are going to like him. His gear is going to be used wide and far, far and wide. And it's just going to be a fun time. So with that being said, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. I find Raging Bracky to be a very fun monster. And truth be told, in this weird hiatus that I'm putting myself through when it comes to making monster hunter videos, it's a breath of fresh air to actually see a monster this cool. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here technically, but I want to say that I'm actually cooking up 3 or 4 videos for you guys right now. There's 2 videos of medium priority, of low priority. One of those videos being this one right here, the other one being Fierce Rajang. 2 medium priority videos, one of which is going to be a top 5 least favorite monsters of all time, and the other one going to be an introduction for my editor. Most of these videos I edit myself, but the ones that I don't edit, you'll know the ones that I don't edit. And then a single high priority video, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be a doozy, okay? Hopefully you guys really like this high priority video that I'm going to make for you guys pretty soon, because not only did I am currently putting hours, like we have 2 hours of work put in already, and we're not even close, dude. So once it's done, the final hour count, I'm not necessarily going to tell you guys. Well, I may, but just know that a lot of time, a lot of time is going to go into this next one. And I'm not going to say it's not going to be a lot of time in terms of like the editing, because a lot of time will go into that. It's just the recording process is going to be strenuous. It's going to be a thing that I don't think someone has done before. Maybe someone has. I'm not saying I'm the first to do it, but if no one has, then that's cool. But if someone has, well, again, that's still cool. But I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like this type of video. Maybe not this one in particular, because it definitely is a video for me. But you guys still might like the idea, the typing. But nevertheless, with the epilogue of this video being done, I will see you all in the next one. That'll be Fierce Rajang, and fingers crossed, that'll come out tomorrow. Take care, everyone.